Mwandiga kindly requested you come in. We are now starting. Thank you, Elder Paul.
Good evening. God is good, and all the times. We thank God that He has given us another evening to gather together. I was told by the chairman that please share a word of God and pray. Sometimes you wonder, what do I read from the Bible in this kind of occasions? Then I was looking at the book of Genesis 1, at the beginning of it. And God is giving us an inspiration to think about as we begin this occasion. Let's have a word of prayer to have the reading. Mighty Father, you who inspired your word, we want to open your word. May your word give solace to the souls that are in this place. May you descend and be in this place personally, that we may not speak our words, but words that are giving comfort to your children. Let your will be done, for this is my prayer in Jesus' holy name. Amen. I was looking at the book of Genesis when the chairman told me, you must have a word to share and have a prayer, but must be brief because we are not baptizing at the end of this. So the book of Genesis is beginning very powerfully by saying that in the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. Which means that God was there in the what? In the beginning. So if God was there in the beginning, it therefore means that there is nothing that happens to us that gets him by surprise. Why? Because he was there in the what? In the beginning. So all the things that are unfolding, God is seeing them. And God is in charge. And God is in control. So everything that we go through in this life, we must know that God was there in the what? In the beginning. And the word of God begins by saying, in the beginning. Then it comes with the attributes of God. Says God created the heavens and the what? And the earth. So we are talking about God who is not like any other God that we may be talking about. We are talking about God the Creator, who did not only create the earth, he also created the what? The heaven and the earth. And if you can think about it for a while, then you can imagine that we have all the stars and all the stars in their trillions moving in their courses for all the times. Nobody is oiling them. Nobody is greasing them. But they are moving in their courses because God was there in the what? In the beginning. He's making sure that there is smooth movement of all the stars in their trillions, in their constellations, without clashing with each other. So God was there in the beginning. And he created the heavens and the earth. Then verse 2 says, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the what? Of the deep. It must surprise you that where God is, there is still what? Deep darkness. There is still void. There is still the formlessness. The earth is without form. The earth is without form and void, and deep darkness was on the face of the what? Of the deep. Which means that even when God was still there are times that we will walk as what David calls in Psalm 23, that though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I will fear no evil, for thou is with me. Which means David is saying, there are times we will walk on top of the hills. But David is saying, there are times that God will allow us to go in the shadow of the valley of what? Of death. But he still says, when we get to this shadow of the valley of death, we still fear no evil because God is with us. Then it's before it ends, and it says, and the Spirit of God was hovering on the face of the what? Of the deep. Which means, despite all this confusion, despite all this darkness, despite all these things that were happening, when God is when in God's presence, the Spirit of God did not let it go loose. The Spirit of God was still in control. Things were still taken care of. Then verse 3 says, then God said, let there be light. And there was what? Light. To all of us who have come here, and more particularly the family of Prof, I want to tell you that despite all the confusion that we can find around us, where God was in the book of Genesis 1 verse 1, where God was, there was still deep darkness. Where God was, there was still voidness. Where God was, the earth was still without form. But the Spirit of God was still hovering upon the face of the deep. But in verse 3 it says, then God said, let there be what? Light. What I want to say here is this. At the end of all these things, God will speak. And let's listen to God, because He will do what? He will speak. Because God will speak. Let's listen to God, what He is going to say to us. And you know, God speaks so powerfully. If you read verse 11, you'll find that God speaks so powerfully. When you read verse 11, you'll find He said, let there be grass, and there was grass. And that's why you will find that every time people like my mother, who are so harsh, you would be sweeping around the house every morning before you go to school. Every morning you are sweeping around but you still find just near the door, there is still grass. Then you wonder, what is wrong with this grass? I've been sweeping this place every day. Where has it come from? The grass will tell you, don't worry. God said, let there be what? Grass. And grass will always be there because God spoke about it. You will find you have done a story building up to maybe 42nd floor. Up there, if you leave it for some times, you will go up there one day and find there's what? Grass. You say, God, grass, how did you find yourself on the 42nd floor? He says, because God said, let there be what? Grass, and there was grass. What I would tell to all of us is, please let us remember that God will finally do what? Speak. Let's listen, because God will speak to us. And when God speaks to us, the word of God is powerful. Let's have a word of prayer. Mighty and everlasting Father, we have gathered together, children of men, not worthy to be identified by your holy name, but Lord, we come because of Jesus dying at the cross. Lord, we come powerfully before the throne of grace. That, Lord, we are gathering in this place to gather and collect finances. Lord, how I pray that you, who says you are the owner of 1,000 sheep in 1,000 hills, may you come down and descend and be in this place. Lord, please take charge of the doings of this place. Take charge of all the happenings in this place, that at the end of it, we can look back and truly say, our God has done it for us once more. Glory and honor come to your holy name, for this is my prayer in Jesus' holy name. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, I had, and I guess there's some of us here who share a unique privilege. I was a successful, stubborn student to the late Professor Mwandiga. And also at some time in my life, I had the great honor and privilege to be his colleague, to work and walk alongside him in the many things that he did. And so, like many of us here today, as has been shared there, a scholar, mentor, scientist, a teacher, a servant leader, that's who he was. And many, many, many other things that we're going to hear this evening. I was but a student, a teacher, or colleague, but there are those amongst us who are a little closer. And so at this moment, I would like to welcome Ken Bozire, who's been chairing the committee that has been making all these arrangements, to come and share a few remarks and introduce the immediate family to us. Ken Bozire.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Why are you wearing very silent faces? And the word there is we are celebrating. I think let's wear faces of celebration that God has allowed us to, given us a chance to be here today. There are many who would have wished to be here tonight, but they are not able to. That sentence sounds like I'm a preacher man, but I ain't one. I'm not like Paul. I didn't know Paul is a fiery preacher. I think you are missing your calling. Better take it up soon. Take it up soon. Huh? The time is nigh. Good evening again. But before I proceed, I've just received news that that's why I've just said that it's good to thank God. I want us to stand. I've received news of the passing on of Professor Jacob Midiwo, a very close friend. He passed on this morning. A very close friend of Professor Mwandiga. He was a friend, a colleague, so he has rested. So I want us to stand for 1 minute in his honor, and we thank God for his life. Let's pause for a minute to remember him. Thank you. You may be seated. May his soul return to his maker where it belongs, and may it find peace and eternal rest. It's a difficult season that we have gone through. I know Professor lost his other colleague, Professor Munavu, and now him. It is, but we thank God for the lives. And I know we are still expecting guests and expecting all of us. But one of the most difficult things that I've observed in the last 3 weeks is that time was not meant for the African, for many of us. We did indicate, even when we say it's 4 o'clock, I realize people think, stretch it by 3-4 hours. Some come at the tail end of the thing, and they say, some even will call you when you are saying the closing prayer and say that, I'm on my way. But I know many of our ancestors use the sun, and sometimes the sun with climate change is also elusive now. So we do not know when it is, what time. Professor JB, I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to see you. I'm sure very many people in this room do not know Professor Jackton Oyoo. How many know Professor Jackton? By show of hands. One of my nephews says that he only knows you on television. But in real life, he cannot pick you out. Professor is a distinguished legal prof and judge from the Supreme Court, and a fine legal mind. So, professors, welcome. It's good to have you. Professor Lunga, thank you. You know, when you talk about students, you're one of his academic students. Last week, you gave us your story how he used the backroom channels to save your life as a student. And I'm glad that you're here, that when you sit there in that honored position, thank you very much, Karibu Sana. Professor Solomon is one of his academic students, not a very young academic student, but he's a fine gentleman. You know, not very many people pick the name fine gentleman. I know this afternoon I told one of the people that Professor Solomon, every second for the last 3 weeks, he's walked, been there, asked what to do and what he wanted to do. I want to say thank you at the very beginning. As we start this, today I'm going to do what many of us do not do. I'm going to read a few remarks lest I be misquoted. So that it is, as the planning chair, the planning committee chair, we did invite very many guests to come through. The last 3 weeks, we've had memorials, we've had ceremonies to celebrate Professor, and today this is one of those penultimate events when we are trying to mobilize resources so that we can give him what we call a befitting send-off. A send-off befitting his status, a send-off that really describes who he was. So I want to read these remarks on behalf of the committee. Those people who are in the committee, I want you to stand, I want you to be acknowledged. The people who have been meeting here every day. Just stand. This is the team. Right at the back is Elphys Mboya, is one of the team members, is a family member. There is Elder Paul Kotung, your hand. And Paul has also been the part-time spiritual leader in that team. There is Effie, a tech gig. And then there's Professor Solomon. The rest of the team, I think, the rest are here. 2 grandchildren here. There's Andrew, and there is Shalene. These are 2 grandchildren to Professor. So thank you very much, team, and asante sana. And I wouldn't be chairman if you are not there. Yeah. So once again, for me, today is a day that we look at the whole event, reflect back and say 3 weeks of grief, 3 weeks of celebration. That there are many times we grieve, but we also remember the good times that God has given, that gave Professor to us. Today is also a day that he has gathered us, like many other ceremonies in the last few weeks, to unite, to bring family together, to bring friends. There are friends that we have never seen, but were brought together by the passing of Professor. So we honor him as a man who was full of humility. He also was a fine mind, fine scholar, and I'm a family member as well. And as I do this, I want to introduce my wife, Simama. That is the one who connected me to the family. Without her, the connection would not have appeared. Hakungekuwa na network. But now, that is the network. So that's where we are. Thank you very much. And I want to welcome you all. It's tough in terms of resource mobilization. That's an acknowledgement I want to make. I always think that when it's a politician, part of the paradoxes of this country, when it's a politician, they fight and run over each other trying to raise money. But when it's a Kenyan of distinguished character, then they give excuses. They give excuses. It's time to think about our own national values. Who are we? And this is a question that has troubled me in the last few weeks, and saying, what if Professor was a politician? But I'm glad he wasn't. He has carved his place and cut his image. So mine is just to welcome you to come and join us in mobilizing the results. Professor Micheka, you've been very, very supportive. Each time you were away, you kept on Professor Micheka. A distinguished, Professor, many people remember you as a person who made NEMA. NEMA made sense. NEMA is synonymous with your name. How I wish I could get you back to NEMA at a time as such, so that we can have that spirit again. So, MC, mine is just to welcome everybody, and I want to introduce family members. Family members, please. And Where is everybody? Where are those family members? Let them come in. I do not want any one of them to stay out. Sophie, where are you? There is no other business except being here now. Come, kujeni Shalin, mkuja hapa mbele wote ni wa introduce. Come. I want to introduce the nuclear family of Professor. Mom is here today. Mom? Yeah? Somebody is going to call her. Just come. Mom, you can just sit here and you can just turn and then you can.
Good evening to you. I'm so grateful that you are all here. And we try rest professors. Let's try our best to rest him in peace. Yeah, all we need is peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you. Let's appreciate Mom. Cecilia is here. Sophie, Cecilia is here. Let her come in. I want everybody here. And yeah.
Good evening, everyone. For me, I just want to appreciate you so much for thus far that we've come, and we are grateful. Towards the rest of the journey, we need prayers, and in terms of resource mobilization, we also need more prayers so that we may be able to meet our target and be able to give Prof a dignified send-off, just as his stature. And we need you, more encouragement, more presence. Yeah, I think that's for me this evening, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Andrew? Andrew, where's Andrew? Andrew, Sophie, come. Andrew?
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Mwandiga. Professor was my grandfather through being a brother to my actual grandfather. So growing up, I always saw him as my grandfather, and yeah, he will be missed. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much. Sophie, Cecilia.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Cecilia Mwandiga, Professor's eldest daughter, and for those of you from the club, thank you for coming twice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cecilia. Where is Sophie? Sophie is missing, the baby girl of the home. Okay, when she comes, we will introduce her, and she will have to say something. Okay. Karibu sana, Bwana MC, and thank you for the chance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There is something I've never really understood in my few long years on this earth. I have never understood why the back seats are always more comfortable than the front seats. It is something I wish I knew. Because when I was in school, I tried to be an obedient boy. But certain genes in me would not allow. But I did my very best to keep them under check, to the point whereby my teachers came to believe that I was very disciplined and timid and tame. And so they relegated me to the comfortable seats at the back. And that is where my true colors truly emerged. But that is a story for another day. Let us take a few moments now to listen to stories, not fiction, but true life stories of our friend. One who we shared many things with. And all of us see different sides, have experienced different sides of him. And today will be an opportunity to put all these sides together and to have a complete mosaic of who Professor Shem Mwandiga was. Let me start Let us start with the story that is associated a lot with him. It can't capture the entire history, but at least glimpses of who Professor was as an academician. It stretched many, many, many years. But what we have to share with us today is probably the final chapter of his illustrious contribution to the academic world. If you could have the media clip of his life at ICCA at this moment, please. There will be on the way, but we have a media clip that captures his contributory life at the Institute of Climate Change and Adaptation. If you could have it now, we'd appreciate. Thank you. Technology, and again, when I was still a young boy with all my hair black, Professor Mwandiga had, how many of us know what an overhead projector is? Oh, I can see the old ones only, or the ancient ones. Yes, he would have an overhead projector and those transparencies that he would use to teach his lectures, but I can see things have changed a little bit. Thank you.
My name is Professor Gilbert Ouma, the coordinator of academic programs in the Institute for Climate Change and Adaptation. I'm currently sitting in the office of the director, Institute for Climate Change and Adaptation. This institute is probably the last major project that Professor Mwandiga initiated and started. We were a bunch of, a group of us a while ago, before 2011. There was Professor Daniel Olago, Professor Maggie Opondo, Professor Madara Ogot, Professor Aluoch. We came together and decided to come up with the institute. The institute deals with climate change adaptation in African issues. Professor Mwandiga was very passionate about climate change issues. And we came together, we'd done a few projects before, and there was a call for projects, and we decided to bid for this, and we managed to get that project funded. So 2011, we started the institute, and he was the first director of the institute, and he managed to run the institute through the years for all that time. Professor Mwandiga was very humble man. He would still be teaching, having lectures. Initially, he was from the Department of Chemistry, and he would still be carrying out lectures, and you'd find him in the college carrying his projector, going around to classes from here. And that taught me a lot about humility. He was a very humble man. And if you had the chance to walk through the university and come to the institute, you'd find it as a standing out kind of department. It's very clean and very neat, thanks to him. And for a very long time, we have not had direct funding. And he encouraged us to do a lot of projects in climate change adaptation. And that has sustained the institute and kept it going for so long. Through the projects, we published a lot of papers on climate change, and that really is a legacy for him. He's an academic giant. He published a lot, both in chemistry and in climate change. And that shows that even at a mature age, a person can still shift from his original focus to a new focus. It is very unfortunate that Prof left us last week, a very saddening news and very abrupt to most of us. And I think to the fraternity of ICCA, it's a major loss. Even though Prof had already retired, we still relied on his advice and would normally go to him for that. And I think for those of us who are here, I would urge them to just move on and keep the spirit of Prof moving on, going to the future, trying to meet what he stood for. For the university fraternity, where he was very greatly honored, we also need to just learn from what he used to do and move on. To the family, we present our sincere condolences. We know it's very difficult for anybody to absorb such happenings, but we believe that through the strength of the Almighty God, you can be able to move forward and still make strides into the future. We have to keep the spirit of Prof burning and to continue with what he left with us. As me personally, he was one of my mentors, and I think what I can do is to carry this forward and mentor other younger people moving forward.
Thank you. That is only, as was shared, it was his final chapter in his illustrious academic journey. I hope this evening we will get snippets of his earlier journey in academia. But to start us off, do we have Bill Mayaka, yes, with us, please? As Bill makes his way here, Dr. Elizabeth Ogaja, if you're here with us, okay, they will soon be joining us. I'm trying to leave, let me just give us a roadmap. We're going to look at who he was outside and end up with who he was at home. So if you're thinking, you're trying to get your 5 minutes of fame like I am doing here, then that is how I'm laying down your strategy for you. Once I pass that chapter, you will lose your 5 minutes of fame. Professor Solomon Derese. A little bit about the chemistry chapter will be in order, I suppose. Thank you, Solomon.
Thank you very much, Charles. Good evening. Pole sana to the family, Ma'am. Pole sana. We, as a chemistry community, not only at University of Nairobi, the whole of Kenya and the whole of Africa and the continent has lost a giant in chemistry. And most importantly, a gentle one, a very kind human being. Just to give you background about Professor Mwandiga. Professor Mwandiga, after completing his studies in the United States, even for him to get the opportunity to go and study in the United States from undergraduate all the way to the PhD, many of us never had such an opportunity. Most probably we go for our graduate studies, but Prof went all the way from undergraduate to PhD. And he was one of the few smart young people coming from a small village called Simbi, which we are going to see on Friday. And he went to the United States to do his undergraduate studies, master's and PhD. And then after completing his studies successfully, he came to Kenya to serve as a lecturer at the Department of Chemistry. You remember, the University of Nairobi is the first university in Kenya. Therefore, the Department of Chemistry is the first chemistry department or institution in the Republic. And Prof. Mwandiga served as the first indigenous African head of the Department of Chemistry. Before him, there was one British man, and it is Professor Mwandiga who walked into that office to set up the agenda of chemistry on behalf and for the people of Kenya. And his pioneering work is what started chemistry in Kenya and beyond. He also served, Prof. Mwandiga also served as the first principal of the College of Biological and Physical Science, that's Chiromo campus. For what it is now, Prof. Mwandiga has contributed a lot. He's from the inorganic chemistry section of chemistry, where Charles also belong and many belong. And he's not only an inorganic chemist, he's an environmental chemist, a climate scientist, as Professor Olago can testify. And he has done a lot. One of the things, I just want to highlight some few things. One of those, of course, he, together with his colleagues in the Pan-African Chemistry Network and the Royal Society of Chemistry, founded the Pan-African Chemistry Network, a network of chemists in Africa. And the reason why this network was established was to train African scientists in the chemical science field so that they can be capacitated in order to solve many of the local challenges we face as they contribute to global knowledge. And his work in the foundation of the Pan-African Chemistry Network, as well as the activities that followed, was very, very fundamental. And as a result of his contribution to the Pan-African Chemistry Network and to global chemistry, the Royal Society of Chemistry awarded him recognized him as a fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry. And before I end, I just want to say something on a personal note. Some times ago in 2012, I got an opportunity to go to the United States on a fellowship. And while I was there for about 4 months, I got the chance to visit Binghamton University in New York. And there were a number of Kenyan students who had gone to that university and doing very well. And we talked with the chair of the department, as well as the dean. And we set up to establish a scholarship scheme where chemistry, the best chemistry students can go and do their PhDs in the United States without going through the normal process of GRE, TOEFL, admission, and all those impeding requirements. And this scholarship scheme was named Mwandiga HAL Scholarship Scheme. The pioneer chair of our department, somebody who has done a lot for chemistry, not only at our university, all over Africa and the world, and then somebody called Hal, a very important member of the Binghamton University. And then through this scholarship scheme, over 12 Kenyan students, the program has ended now, but over 12 Kenyan students, some of whom are valedictorians, were given that scholarship and have now their PhD studies continue where Professor Mwandiga has started. Professor Mwandiga had a wonderful journey on this planet. He has trained, he has established institutions, he has mentored. You're going to miss him. May his soul rest in peace. And we all have his mentees, his students. We have that responsibility to give him a deserving, well-respected, send-off. And that's the reason why we're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just glimpses of his life in the Department of Chemistry. We saw glimpses of him and his life in the Institute of Climate Change and Adaptation. But here with us this evening is Professor Lago, who is also in the Institute of Climate Change and Adaptation. A few remarks will be in order. Professor Lago.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mirikao is, together with him, we are exchanges people. So, all right, yes, so I've known Prof for a long time, primarily since 1996. In 1996, well, a little bit earlier, 1 year earlier, Professor Mwandiga was the chairman of a newly established institution called the Pan-African START Secretariat. So START stands for System for Analysis, Research and Training. And it was evolving around the area of capacity building globally for people working in the area of global environmental change. So global environmental change encompassed climate change, pollution, and biodiversity as the primary three areas that were being focused upon, but there were a host of other areas that we're looking at. So the head office was based in Washington, and the Africa headquarters was in Nairobi. So Professor Mwandiga was the chairman, and Professor Eric Odada was the executive director. So I joined there in 1996, of January 1996, as the program officer. So it was an office with 4 people. So I was a program officer, and then there was another lady who was now doing administration and finance. And so from there, that's when I got to really know him very well. I'd just come back with my PhD, and we started that institution here in Nairobi. One of the very earliest things that he taught me, because I was the one who was, doing the day-to-day kind of, operational stuff of the office, was how to write minutes. The first set of minutes that I gave him, he said, "Oh, Dan, what is this? Surely. Come, let me show you how to do it." And then he showed me how you arrange it, how you number it, how you structure each and every section. And that stuck with me ever since. And Shem, he used to say, I call him Shem. I couldn't call him Shem until very recently. So he always insisted, "Don't call me Professor Ndiga." I say, "Okay." Then we call him Prof many times. Prof. And he says, "Shem." I say, I can't. It's difficult because of the immense respect that I have for him. Prof. Micheka is also laughing because he knows what I'm saying. So he was a very, very gentle person, and yet at the same time, a very powerful person. Many of us think that you can be, if you're gentle, then you're a weak person. By no means. I think we have got it wrong, and we need to get it right. Because many people go for power and force. But he went for power, dialogue, and respect for every single person. So I grew up under him, going through these many processes. And another significant moment I remember was in 1998, when he brought together a group of well over 40 researchers, academicians, and he said we have to deal with this issue of climate change. And particularly for us in Kenya and in Africa, we have to think about adaptation. So we sat there trying to, write proposals and go for funds. And we went on for well over a year. And that group of 40 ended up eventually to a group of 5. So there was Professor Mwandiga, there was myself, Dr. Maggie Opondo, Professor Uma, Gilbert, and Professor Ogot. That was in 1999 now. And we had put in proposals to really work on climate change issues. And at that time, interdisciplinary work was something that people were not really familiar with. And it was, quite difficult to get people from one discipline to understand the perspective that someone else from another discipline had. And so we got some funding. And the first one that we did get was dealing with climate change and health. And this was done in the Lake Victoria Basin. Now, it was another thing to actually run an interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary team. And we had many cases when we had team meetings when people would say, we don't understand the relevance of this in this. And he would try to explain, and he was very patient with everybody. He would say, no, just take your time, take it easy, don't get agitated. You're going to get it in good time. So somebody in that particular event said, I think it was 4 years down the line, he just said it from the back or the middle of the room and said, now I get it. And he got it because Prof was so patient in pulling people together and in helping people to understand very, very complex ideas. That was one of his major strengths, or maybe two, because bringing complex ideas to simplicity and also bringing people together, both young and old, mentoring the very young and the very old and not having any peer divisions. That was one of the major characteristics. And then finally, I just want to say, I am standing here because he is the one who founded the Institute for Climate Change and Adaptation, which is today a global institution. Well known all around the world, producing very good research, and it was one of the gems in his heart. The Institute for Climate Change and Adaptation is something for which he worked in the latter part of his life and gave 100%. So we are here today. Let us also give him 100% as he gave it to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me admit one of my not so strong points. I'm not a very good salesperson, but I will try. And especially in the realm of advertising, oh boy, I'm still a long way off. But there's always a first time. How do I look? Not bad, huh? Whereas, I don't know, okay, now, how does my back look? Pretty plain. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. Those who love white and black, well, we have a white and black for you. All chemists in the house. This one is especially for you. Father of chemistry. How would I look? How do I look? Beautiful. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, a few things that you could carry along with you to remember Professor Shem Mwandiga. They will be outside here for sale. Please visit the table. If you think you want to be a chemist, it isn't late to start, even if you're not one. Professor Olago, I never saw you in the chemistry class, but this is your last chance. So please, when you get a moment, visit the table outside and please buy one. I can see Professor Micheka is scribbling away, lest you forget the good memories. Please. To say one or two things.
Really, first of all, let me, sir, I think what you should have done in that, you should have brought one of the ladies to march with you.
I was trying.
Colleagues, my name is Micheka, and really I like to, family, all of you, just really on behalf of my very good friend, if I stood here talking about Mwandiga, I would take a long time, but I just wrote, actually I remember to script only 3 items, which I think many of you may not have known. You know, Mwandiga was my senior all through in the University of Nairobi. I was between Olago and myself in between. It's just a few years ahead of, well, a number. But then he would call me Ratemo, do A, B, C, D, just about, as he was telling my brother here, Prof. Where I met him close, now cross ranges, is when I went to JKU as a principal, first as a deputy principal, then vice chancellor, and I would really admit this was done at a fairly young age stage. I should now be being now is when I should be a vice chancellor. But then Mwandiga, now being my boss, University of Nairobi, we could meet at about the same level when he was chairing meetings, particularly what we called structural adjustment programs. Many of you suffered consequences of my good senior professors' remarks and change of university education. What we did, 5 universities, summary, were told that we were given $69 at that time to do structural adjustment program, support universities, kick out students to stay home, dissociate halls of residence from the bed space that we admit 200 and bed space is only 200. They said, forget about it. It is during his time when he chaired, and I was a principal in JKU, and we say $69 million divided by 5 universities really is a lot of money. We spent days, nights, thinking on how to spend it. I don't know whether it came or it actually affected us quite a bit. Anyway, to make that story just short is this. He, as a chairperson, and having been a deputy vice chancellor, administration and finance, University of Nairobi, he decided now this man has come, we now do away with the boom. So it is Mwandiga, and we were with him saying, now Micheka, how do we bail the cat out? Bailing the cat. How do we announce these kind of problems to students? We went to Mbithi and other vice chancellors, plus me now, there are 5 of us, we were 5. Called a press conference, I think you must have been there. And they said we have a big announcement to make. Those days, JB, VCs were reasonably heavy-duty people, if you remember. So we called a press conference, sat. So we told Mwandiga, you are the one who wrote. We are vice chancellors that time. Read the statement. He read the statement at about 10, 11 o'clock. Every one of us, was ready as VCs to close universities in the head. We knew invariably that JKU, what where was, shall close, Nairobi shall close, Moi shall close, Egerton shall close, and KU shall close. See, that is now Mwandiga having announced. So if you look at the papers back, his headline picture says, boom is cleared off. So he made a statement, we waited, Nairobi down. Moi University, down. KI tells buses, his vehicle, I think, was banned. KU, down. Like they are doing now, apparently. Then eventually, they came to Egerton, down. Mine was actually the last. I tried holding fort for like 4 or 5 days. Eventually, we said, down. That is the only time JKU had actually closed. So Mwandiga is a name to recall on the closure, dissociation, deletion of the boom in good faith at that time, having been fully guided by the World Bank and the state. Whether it was good or bad, you people make your judgment. The second one, more recent, is when we got the letters of retirement. He's older. We were number, actually, quite a few of us, to be Professor Emeritus. He got one, I got another one, Munavu another one, Onyang another one, Professor, several of them. Kabete, we were about 5, Kinam. I think you know them. Mutito and the others. So I came, looked, hey, Prof, we have been told to go, age, from 70 up, 72, 74, all the way. So I met him here, we said, Micheka, what's this going on? Of course, we were disgusted together. Hence, that was Mwandiga, but gently so. The very final one is where we just met, discussed here, and they would advise me. I did pesticides on environment, so it was pretty good in chemistry on those pesticides we used to do, and the agriculture and environment. And they would tell me, would advise me, even these programs you got. I was in them, and when you were building it, He actually built it with the understanding that environment would come through and join, which we did eventually. Anyway, that stopped and we used to meet. Lastly, really, on behalf, Chair, of the Kenya National Academy of Sciences, where Mwandiga was totally engaged in, as one of the second chairpersons of the academy of this country, let me send really our heartfelt condolences to him, to the family who are here, and really remember that his document coming out, you are doing it very well, and I sent you details. I just came from Laikipia, by the way, so hence my heart, I was in the bush doing certain things. Please let us send him well. We know him, we'll remember him. We chip in as much as we can, depending on the quantities of the pages and material that we want to cover. Other than that, really myself, my wife, who knows him very well also, says, Paul, to you all, and that you have come through, and I really thank you, sir, for being extremely glamorous. I do hope now you shall bring ladies to talk, bwana. Sasa tukiongea sisi bwana peke yetu, hawa jamaa wataanza kuturau. So, I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Just one or two more clips of Professor Mwandiga. Justice Ojwang. I didn't know Professor Mwandiga dabbled in law. Today I shall know.
Good evening, everyone. I would just make a few remarks concerning our good friend whom we have lost, Professor Shem Mwandiga. I taught at the university continuously for many years, beginning from 1976. And when I joined the university in the Faculty of Law, I got to know Professor Mwandiga fairly early. And I got to know him because those were years during which academic work was taken very seriously. If you look at those scholars who were at the university in the 70s and before, they loved their work and they spent their time together sharing the fundamentals of their spheres of knowledge. That was something that we had at the University of Nairobi. And then the University of Nairobi was the only university in Kenya. And our scholars took their work very seriously. Professor Mwandiga was one of those who took their work very seriously, and they loved their work. If you were to know some of the scholars of the University of Nairobi in the 70s and before, they just loved their work. They did a very good job. They would spend all their time doing research, and then they would share from time to time. The University of Nairobi was a place of learning, and Professor Mwandiga was one of the pillars of scholarship at that time. There were others. There were many, in fact, many academics at the University of Nairobi were really fine scholars, and they loved their work. And they also loved sharing, coming together. These days, there is some institution there. It was very important in our days. It was called the Senior Common Room. That's a place where scholars would meet, discuss things, have a cup of tea and so on, and they kept on sharing. And so these were the places where we met with members of staff from all campuses, from Chiromo, from Kenyatta Hospital, all over the place. And Professor Mwandiga was one of those with whom we shared. And I can tell you that he was a great scholar. He had a lot of ideas and a lot of, ambition in terms of scope for development. So he was a person whose company we really enjoyed. It strengthened us as academics. And so this is the person we are talking about. what is very special about Professor Mwandiga was that I'm now talking about him in the 70s. He remained in academic work throughout. There was no time when he left. He loved academic work. He did a lot of publication, research, and he influenced many, many young scholars. So it is my belief that we have lost, in academic terms, it is a major loss that we have suffered with the loss of Professor Mwandiga. Now, apart from his focus on his work and his excellence in scholarship, in teaching, research, and publication, what is very special about Professor Mwandiga, which many people may not know, is that he was different from many academics you see around now. He was a very humble man, and he was a friendly person. So he was a person you'd wish to sit with and just share ideas on the kind of progress you can make in academic life. That humility was the mark of Professor Mwandiga from the beginning to the end. And it is something that, personally, I think has been a source of mentorship for very many scholars, and they must be very satisfied that they had the opportunity to share with Professor Mwandiga. So I think at this point, these are the remarks I would like to make, merely to conclude that we are saying farewell to a scholar of great significance, of focus, and of a very social kind, and someone who was keen to see growth in the youth of our country, and also in influencing other scholars to retain that kind of humility and that kind of commitment to academic work. So this was a scholar in every sense. These are the remarks that I would like to make about Professor Mwandiga. I hope that it will be of some value. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, people are giving me those eyes. I can see them. I can see them. Okay, due to public demand, I don't know where that public came from, but there's another terminology that has come into our vocabulary. Stakeholder consultations, so I don't know what that means. After stakeholder consultations, at this juncture, I would like to ask Cecilia Mwandiga, can you give us another perspective that is not academic, that is not riots, that is not, but is? Cecilia, welcome.
Thank you very much. I will blend. I was born before my father got his PhD. So everybody knows him as professor, but he was dad, and so was mom. They were both working on their academic studies. She was working on molecular biology, and him on inorganic. So there was also Dr. Kagumba, who some of you know. He was we were in Maryland and Cleveland, and that's where they were, and I was born in Cleveland. I'm giving you this hint because you're talking about scholarly. So all through, even when my sister was born, Marisol, she wanted to be here, but there was a flight delay at Nairobi Hospital. We were on School Lane in Westlands. The Ominde's house was catty corner and used to crawl under the fence. Uncles and aunties were the Ogots, both, and the Ominde's, the Railas, the Okotogendo. On occasion, Obama Sr. would pass by. So you don't really realize who you're around because those are just aunties and uncles, right? And you're having, and who makes the barbecue, and who gets you the soda, who sneaks you the candy under the table when mom said no. And those were the memories. So when we get to Westlands Primary, first grade is when I start understanding that that wasn't normal conversation in households. I hear other students talking about, their parents are talking about trading, selling businesses. A couple were talking about law. So I go home and I'm like, they're not talking what you talk. And so parents sat down and said, well, but we're a little different. So I was like, oh, okay. So how does this translate into standards? First assignment is go home and ask your parents, what is the lowest grade you can get? Seems easy enough. Get home, ask mom. She came having both, they studied in the US, mom was from Puerto Rico. So in the US grading system, you are graded on a scale up to 100. And here in the British system, it's impossible to get to 100. But in the US, if you get 60 or below, you're not passing. So mom sits down and explains to me that as a faculty member herself, she is happy when a student learns at least 80% of the material, but she would like me to dedicate myself to get at least 90% of the material, because that's what the percent means, how much you absorbed. So I was like, oh, okay, huh, all right. Dad comes home. Like, Dad, what's the lowest score I can get? 100. Dad, you're not getting this. Lowest. I told you 100. I was like, Dad, that's the top of the scale. Oh, really? Okay, let me revise. 110. No, Dad, don't put that on my paper. It's what I have to do. He said, my dear child, if you're coming home and you're not studying and you're not going above the maximum, why are you my daughter? So that was first grade. That is what he expected in everything. He knew that sometimes one would miss the mark, but he had to see you go for that 110%. Funnily, on mom's side, Grandpa had a similar saying, always give a baker's dozen, which is 13 instead of 12. So I think mom looked for that commonality with overachievers when she was looking for somebody. So, going through high school, so primary and high school, we did part in Boulder when Dad was on sabbatical. Mom and Dad separated, then we ended up in Puerto Rico. Dad was very worried about whether or not the Kenyan education system had prepared us well enough, because in the transition between the US calendar year and the Kenyan calendar year, my sister and I both lost about half a term. And so we were already in as younger students, and we had to now compete with half a term less of knowledge. So we were put in a private school, English speaking in Puerto Rico, and mom was told, ugh, hardly anybody ever gets into that school. It's so tough. And so we were all on pins and needles. We take the entrance exam. By the time we reach home, the whole street is like looking at us. I was like, Mom, we flunked. And Grandma's looking at us like, and she made us, I was like, oh, we really flunked, because she's making us comfort food. Turns out we aced, and we got full scholarships, both my sister and I. So that now validated the Kenyan academic system in the US system, and we kept on that way. Going through then undergrad, I did do study chemistry, and I was placed in Puerto Rico. They have the top 100 students in science, so I made that list. But then I told my parents something worse than taking away boom. I told them that they had done chemistry all their lives, and I was tired of listening to chemistry, and I didn't want to go into engineering. I wanted to be my own person. They just looked at me, and I said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to find my way." So they bore with me in that whole journey. Coming back, having learned that it is not possible to walk into a room and have the last name and not get poked like, "Are you any relation to?" That obviously is something that took adjustment towards, and it will always take adjustment. At first, there was fear that I wouldn't live up, but over time, it is happiness, because now that he's gone, I know the standards everybody expects of me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A perspective from one who was, before Mwandiga was who we knew him to be. Sophie. You know, it is said those who come a little later do not know the wrath and horrors of those who came a little earlier. I hope that is also true.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Sophie Mwandiga. I am Daddy's youngest, Professor Mwandiga's youngest. My experience was very different. I was spoiled rotten. I can't relate to the 100% mark. My mark was wherever I landed. Daddy was my safety net. He was known to be multidisciplinary, that is true. He was a master in the kitchen. Between my parents, he was the cook. I will miss his steaks. He made a very good roast, marinated in Guinness, and I do not have the recipe, but I will keep trying until it tastes right. Mom and I were talking today about how we will miss him at every table, because that's just how big his presence was. And I think you can feel it if you're a member of UKC. You will miss him at his table. He was a man of purpose. I have come to realize that. I've heard that you should find your purpose, and I believe my father did. And that purpose is present here in this room. It's here, you are evidence of his purpose. You've been inspired by him, loved by him, mentored by him, and I think you felt the same. And that's wonderful. My name is Sophie. As I said before, I was named after his mother, Grandma Sophie. I will forever miss whenever he would call me. Sorry. He would always say, "Mommy, you know I call you Mommy because you are my mommy." And that's where my father lies in my heart. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for loving Professor Mwandiga, for loving my father.
Thank you very much. We are really now at the tail end of the tributes, and then we will go into what the other half of what brought us here. to ensure that we can give Professor Mwandiga a befitting send-off. Commissioner Moses Nyang'ie. We are a little short of time, so I know I wish you had the whole day, but I'll still have to give you a moment to speak.
Thank you very much, Prof. Good evening. My name is Moses Nyang'ie. I come from Karachuonyo constituency, and I work with the Kenya Revenue Authority. What I do so well is tax collection. So in terms of giving speeches, I'm not so good at that. So I'm here on my own account, together with the governor of Homa Bay County, Her Excellency Gladys Nyasuna Wanga. I've been in Arusha on official duties. So when I came back, I heard about the arresting of our brother and friend, Professor Shem Mwandiga. I've seen some few people from Karachuonyo, they are here. I've seen my brother and cousin. The son was also a pastor. The father of Prof was a dear pastor in our constituency. And above all, the late father was a very good friend of my dad, Mzee Benson Nyang'ie, who is also resting. And I was also a student of Prof. I went through the University of Nairobi, and specifically, I was at Chiromo campus. That is where Prof was for a long period of time when we were students there. I've seen so many scholars here. We really respect you a lot because you are really the ones modeling the future of the country. So on behalf of the Nyang'ie's family, on my own behalf, the family of Prof, receive our condolences. We will be with you on Friday when Prof will be laid to rest. But above all, Her Excellency has passed her condolences. She's with the family. She's praying for you. She'll support the family very well. We know Prof was a very good friend of the late Jacom. Otherwise, Jacom would have been here. So Her Excellency is also doing that on behalf of the party, which is ODM. So Prof, I just wanted to request, if you don't mind, because I'm going for another function, which is also about to end. Just allow me give the contribution of the governor. I have sent there 200,000 Kenya shillings, 200,000 Kenya shillings, sorry. 200,000 Kenya shillings. I've sent the contribution of governor. I hope you have received that very well. Then this is my own contribution of 30,000. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof, and God bless. Tulipe ushuru, asanteni.
Thank you very much, thank you very much. That is called the appetizer. From the village, you ate anything that was there. It wasn't structured, but we came to learn a little later that, you know, there is precursors and chemistry, and then the main meal, and then the postcursors after, if there's anything like that. At this moment, let me welcome Professor Oyoo Olunga to make a few remarks and really usher in the second half of our time together here. Resource mobilization. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm sure members of the club are wondering why I'm seated in front. Well, my name is Oyoo Olunga. Apart from being a member of the club and a director of this club, I'm also a dear friend to Prof. Mwandiga. I do not want to continue again talking about what I talked about last time. And I am today representing Professor Peter Nyang' Nyong'o, who was supposed to be the guest of honor. So I want to speak like Professor Nyong'o. If the diction and eloquence will not be appropriate, Do not blame him. Blame it on me. Dear ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself and the Nyong'o family, we would wish to express our condolences to Mama and the children and to this esteemed club for the loss of Professor Mwandiga. I received this information with a lot of regrets. I had purpose to meet Professor Mwandiga on my last journey back to Nairobi. Unfortunately, our table where we met and talked shall be empty on my next return. To the academic fraternity, the loss of Professor Mwandiga is not only a loss to the family, nor to the university fraternity. It is to all those who believe in knowledge and excellence in terms of knowledge production. It's our hope that God will rest his soul in peace. And to Mama, and to every of the Mwandiga children, please, your father, your husband, your grandfather was a peaceful man. May peace prevail as we send him to rest. That was Peter Nyong'o, not Owuor Lunga. Now back to the business of the day. We've come here to raise funds. And since Nyong'o was supposed to be the guest of honor, I shall be that guest today. If for some reasons my position does not allow you to give the money, please give on behalf of Mwandiga. Or just assume I'm Nyong'o, right? We'll now start the process of fundraising. United Kenya Club shall begin to take us through. Please give me the list of the guests as they should be. United Kenya Club, tell us what you have for us. You talk with your money now.
Good evening. Having said that, Grace will come after me and will give, United Kenya Class has got something called Mercy Basket, and there is also something like that. Grace will give you the money from the Mercy Basket. The money that we are produced today is still rolling, so we will tally it only when we are approaching Simbi. Then later on you will know what it is. I want to state that when this occurred, by the time we agreed to be able to participate, we have kept very close with the family through Cecilia, the lead person. We will thank you for that. Members of the family, and also the chairman of the family team, the bigger committee that has been engaged in preparing the departure, the laying to rest of Professor Mwandiga through their chairman, Ken. Thank you very much for that job. And Sophie, please, thank you for that great participation, contribution, and languaging of circumstances, opportunity, and way forward. And having stood very well for Mommy when she also, through other challenges, was not able to be immediately available. The club, this team is with you, and we are going to be with you up to the last minute. I've told you what we have brought. I want Grace to state what you want, but after she finishes, I would like to escort whatever it is from the club with another contribution of mine of 5,000 shillings. And this one I'm giving in cash. That is to escort the contribution of the club, the Mercy Basket, and the rolling of contributions which are coming from members of the club. I repeat, we are of the persuasion that Mwandiga was a great man. We have been told who he is, a great scholar, but also a friend, very calm, very focused, omnipresent. Thank you. And all the time, my friend, for the last 30 years, we have been talking one-to-one. And sometimes when he realizes I want to raise my voice, and I've said this many times, he would tell me, Bill, make it less, lower it, lower it, lower it. And I obeyed that. So he has tamed me also to be a very, very humble and amenable human being. Is that not a leader, a father, and everything else? Thank you very much. Grace, please.
Professor Mwandiga's family, distinguished guests, good evening. My name, as has been said, is Grace Kiringa. I'm the second vice chair of the United Kenya Club, and I'm here to represent our chairman, Mr. Job Makanga, who is not feeling very well, as has been said by our chair emeritus, who has done a very, very good job to organize the final send of Professor Mwandiga. Can we please give him another applause? Thank you very much. Our chair emeritus and all our former chair emeritus who have really done a very good job, and our chair membership. So for me, I hope Director Makurunga, you allow me just 1 minute, then I can give my amount. Okay. Thank you. So I missed on Thursday when the tribute were being given. I think I was away, but I believe my apologies were recorded or were noted. I would just want to say something small about the late Professor Mwandiga. I worked in Chiromo School of Mathematics as an administrator when he was a professor in chemistry. And when he was coming up with the program and setting up the institute, I remember him presenting the curriculum at the faculty board. And since that curriculum was so similar with another one of meteorology, there was a bit of resistance from other members. But because of Mwandiga himself, the moment he walks into that boardroom, it's like everybody just goes quiet. So he really pushed and worked very hard for, I'm doing this because of Professor Orago is now in charge of that program. That was one instance. Then here at the club, I don't know who has been royal like him here. I normally say I'm very royal, but I don't think there's anybody who beats him in royalty to this club. Every day at 6, I think except Saturday and Sunday, and I think sometimes we even come weekends. But every day, Monday to Sunday, 6 p.m. and then 8 p.m., he has his taxi going. Very disciplined. And he would always end like a permanent chair over there where I would sit, and he would always enjoy his wine. I don't know, I think it was red sweet wine. That's what he would enjoy there. And Cecilia, the daughter, I think Cecilia, they were the one who was really enjoying the company of your father. Because every day Cecilia must be next to the father. I'm like, hey, these people are great friends. They're always together, every day. I think you must have received a lot of mentorship, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge. You have really, and you have had a great time with your dad. And a lot has been said about his humility. I think he's also maybe the humblest man we have seen here at United Kenya Club. Very humble, very, very humble. Very humble. I could pass by greet, then when I greet him, he'd stand to greet me, and then he sits back. I never happened to sit in that table because I knew, the people would sit there, there were certain caliber. So I never got a chance of sitting next to him and listen to his conversation. Because that table, I think a few ladies were welcomed in quotes. Or we imagine Cecilia, Winnie, Metura, who was the other lady who would sit there? Musiokis, ni? Yeah, only very few ladies. So some of us, we even just say hi and we dismiss ourselves and we go to a certain corner where we fit more. So I never got a chance to listen to his conversation on that table, but I'll be talking to Cecilia so that he can share more with me. But I can say he was very, very humble, down to earth. You not imagine his magnitude and the way you just walk, even just a walk. His footsteps spoke a lot. Just the footsteps. The demeanor. The whatever he carried was so much that if you are, those people want to speak about them, so I think some of us will not be even passing near that table, even will not be saying hi, but you allowed us to be who we are And we always greeted him, and he always encouraged us as the leaders of this club to continue doing the good job that we are doing. So mine is to pass my message of condolence to the family. We are with you, and we will be with you on Friday, and we continue praying that may Professor Mwandiga's soul continue resting in eternal peace. So now, the club contribution from the massive basket is a total of Kenya shilling 10,000. So the envelope is here. I don't know who is receiving it. You are the one, yeah? So from United Kenya Club, massive basket. So you can see how the basket is doing a good job. So we should always be ready to support it when we are asked to do that. Number 2, we have other contributions in kind from the club. We had round meeting for fundraising and tribute on 4th of June. The venue charges at which we waived for the family, Kenya sharing 50,000. We had water for 60 packs, 1,200. Tea and snacks, 15,600. So on 4th June, the club spent 66,800. Then on 8th June, which is actually today, the venue charge is 50,000. And also you have seen there is water moving around. Then we also had chairman's court meetings, and we served them with refreshment worth 7,500. Then also we have Mwandiga's family, where we have also supported them with Kenya sharing 600. So the total cost, which the UKC have as encountered so far, is 124,900 Kenya shillings. Can we clap for the chair and the membership? So thank you very much. That is what I heard from the chairman of the club. Thank you very much, and we continue praying for you. Asante sana. Back to you.
So thank you. I came here and I said I was William Okello Ogara. I always tell people that Okello here, with reference to me, is with a single L for purposes of legal issues. And now, in this particular process, I was appointed or given the opportunity, I was given the power to be able to steer this process from the beginning today on behalf of the club board of directors and then the chairman emeritus. So, and I have worked with a team of people to be able to bring ourselves to this day. And those members of my committee who may be in here, kindly get up. I can see Mobora, I can see Winnie, I can see Kinyanjui, Professor Lunga. I'm not seeing somebody under the light. Alois. Yes, Alois. And then the manager. So this team has made a lot of decisions, has driven this process. And I thank them for having given me the opportunity to chair and steer and guide this process to this day. Can you clap for this team? Get up, please. Let's hear your names properly. By you saying it yourself. You're Uworo Lunga.
Yes.
Just there. If you want this microphone.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kinyanjui Mushai, Chairman, Membership and Governance, United Kenya Club. Karibuni.
Good evening. Professor Julius Mobora, the immediate former chairman. I handed over to the current chairman.
Winnie Mitula, member, UKC Club.
Otiana Lois, member, UKC Club.
My name is Nathan Mugambi. I'm the United Kenya Club General Manager. We'll miss Prof. Mwandiga. Asante.
I think Grace, when she stood here, Dr. Kiringa, told you about the contributions of the club. And it involved a lot of activities, preparing venue. Look at the seats you are sitting on. This has been repeatedly done. This has been done for this kind of open gatherings. It has been done for committee meetings. It has been done for the family meetings. And this does not work out on its own. The members, the staff of the United Kenya Club has been very committed to this process of Professor Mwandiga send-off. And I'd like you to give a hearty clap to the people, the members of staff headed by the general manager for the commitment to the life, times, and departure of Professor Shem Oyoo Mwandiga. Thank you very much, staff. Thank you very much, United Kenya Club Board of Directors, the Chairman Emeritus, once again for giving me the opportunity to drive this process to this day. And these things, today was a purpose. A day like this cannot occur when there is no team that is sitting on that side. So for me also, I know later on there will be something, but we appreciate you and you have come because you have supported all steps that we have done, and today we are culminating in a space and time when it is open to members of who are not within any of the entities and organizations that the professor may have belonged to. Thank you very much. Ken Bosire, chairman of the team, has worked with us very close. Ken, thank you for your leadership, patience, and capability. Welcome. I would like now to give the thing back to Oyoo. I want to mention to you that Oyoo is an anthropologist, and he has been very useful to me and to the team when it was very difficult to language a few things. He comes with a few words and he unlocks the problem. Thank you very much.
The only problem I cannot unlock is financial. Now, I think I had to allow the club latitude of extended time because of what they have been doing and the fact that this was Professor Mwandiga's literally second home. Just to add a little, Bill has given me some other money, and I would want to just mention, because that's part of the club, the Solicitor General gave 20,000, Shadrach Mose, manager, I hope that money received. And then here we have 6,000 from Honorable Moses Omolo Okero, Mzee Omolo Okero. That is Okero Isaac himself, right? Another 3,000 from Joy Kibati, so this is 6,000 still from the club. Now, from there we go to, I have other amount here that I will announce, don't worry. Okay, okay. Yes, how much is it?
10,000.
10,000 from Honorable Jim Angwenyi, still part of the club, 10,000. All right. From there we go to ICCA, Professor Lago. I'm sure you have something to say. Your money speaks. The more it is, the more you speak.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll just be very quick. I just want to thank the ICCA staff and also the associates and also our students, all of whom got together to contribute. I want to thank Martha Mugu. I think she has left for collating all that money. So what we have sent to the pay bill is 240,000.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ICCA. That is one of the institutions that is present courtesy of Professor Mwandiga. From there, we move to Department of Chemistry.
Very much, Prof. The chemistry group, we set up a committee chaired by our chairman, Professor David Kariuki. Charles is also part of the committee, and we sat together and we reached out to current staff, former staff, as well as students of Professor Mwandiga. And in addition to some of the facilities, facilitation we have done, which contributed, which include money, we have in total so far transferred 272,800, And, but there is still more coming because we are traveling to home, and there could be some issues that may arise. So at the end of the day, the balance will transfer to the family. And on behalf of myself, the chair, and all his students who came in big number to support the family, this they did because of who Professor Mwandiga is, the man Professor Mwandiga is. Thank you very much. Eh? Oh, okay, sorry. And supervised many students. One of his last, probably, PhD student from chemistry is the second lady of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Joyce Kithure Kindiki. In addition to contributing to our kitty on her behalf and her family, she has contributed 200,000 Kenya shillings. Makofi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause. You know, the rest I did not tell you is that he's an Ethiopian. And he has now become so Kenyan that I'm sure none of you even recognize his dialect as being a little strange. But that's fine. Now, Mwandiga was a member of several other institutions. I may not know. Allow Bill to say something about his club membership because he has to attend to other things. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I've had to come again. When I got up here, one of the things I have to do, remember, I spoke specifically about the club, the team, the leadership. Professor Mwandiga has joined the club in 1984. That spans a total of 42 years as a member of the club. Within that time, he has actually been very critical in managing the progress in this club, but above all, even protecting the interests of the club. He was chairman of the club for over 6 years, a chairman of the board of directors, and that is important that we note. This drive, this ownership of this process by the chairman emeritus is because of his previous performance in the club, apart from all that you have been told about his power to attract when he sits on a table, is that he was that director. I have been also a director of the club for 6 years and chairman of the board of directors. And on this basis, we are persuaded that Professor Mwandiga deserved what we have done. Members of the family, all of you now, and chairman of the board, I have to leave because I have another function starting now. So I'm requesting you to give me leave, have ownership of my departure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're looking for any other institution here represented. I know Professor Mwandiga was long-serving chairman for the University Council Egerton. He's passed on as the Chancellor of JUST. Any other institution before we go to individual contributions? Yes, please. Just come forward and...
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, thank you so much. I think one thing that was being forgotten is the role of Prof in nurturing young leaders. I think that's something we need to, as we are modeling the send-off, we need to not struggle a lot in bringing young people forward to also say their, share their moments with Prof, as I used to call him. So I just want to take 2 minutes, Prof. Thank you. So Prof, we know
Prof I'm representing ICAS Institute. I'm Jacob Olonde. I'm the CEO and founder. Prof was our chair of the advisory board. We met Prof in 2010 when I was just thinking about the institution, when I was still in second year, and Prof, you could remember, at Gigiri. And I think I also met you that same day. And over time, Prof, when he was at ICCA, I used to consult him a lot when I was still a student at the university, at Kenyatta University. So when I came to ICCA, Prof taught me a lot of things through, I said at the Nairobi Club, at the Nairobi Safari Club, that the first meeting I had was, everybody was professor, except me and Rosemary. And Professor Lago is here, and it was so tense. Professor Gara was there, Dulo, and the rest of them, and it was really tense, and I didn't know which title to use. But Prof said, and Jacob is here, Jacob is climate change and evolution expert, and Jacob is the one going to coordinate the program. And since then, I had a title, I had the courage, and I had the confidence. And the rest of the thing is that through Prof, we started a mentorship program which mentored a number of, so many of young people, fresh graduates, students in campus. And other than me, who is speaking boldly before you, whom he picked when I was stressed out of employment, I have a number of them. Derek is one, mentored, Shelly is here, and the rest of young people. So over time, I've known Prof, and I've learned over time that Prof, I visited in his house at Lavington, his house at Oyster. I used to share a table here most of the times. Anytime something disturbed me, I've learned. And one thing I picked from Prof that I've not forget is ethics. The other time I was doing something in State House, and I came to report to him that, Prof, you know what? Today I greeted the president. And he told me, Jacob, thank you, because you have lived my dream. He gave me a story of some day when he was at the University of Nairobi. He was invited by Moi to go and go to State House, and some gentleman just locked him out. They reached the door of State House, and the gentleman locked the door, and left him outside. And so I saw Prof in his good elements, bad elements. The worst of all is when now he was leaving the university, and I used to sit with him, just listening to his pain. And he told me something, Jacob, I don't regret anything. I've done my part. And that he kept mentioning when we visited me, even with Shelley in his house in Oyster. Kwani mimi, and I used to tell him, hey, good pastor, I used to tell him, that, unakunywa kitu na wewe ni mtoto wa pastor. And he used to tell me, apana, wine is not bad for the stomach. And we used to laugh a lot of things. So for me, I have his legacy. I have the young Shem in my house. I named him after my firstborn, Shem. A great man. He will see him soon, because he inspired more than me. He inspired me. It was difficult the way my wife spoke in the first meeting, that it was a fight to name a child Shem. Shem ni jina ya mtu mzee. It's an old man's name. But I insisted and told him, one day you will see this man and you will experience him. And she experienced Prof when she was graduating here, and we used Prof's card to eat. And Prof passed by and said, congratulations, and said, hey, what a man. So thank you so much for joining. From ICAS, our contribution will be giving, I've been away since we left. This is my first time I've been out of the country. I just came in yesterday night. So nimemwambia tu Shalin, nitaandika check of 100,000 as part of ICAS contribution. Thank you so much.
You know, sometimes when you hear young men speaking, in as much as you want to stop them, you let them continue. Mama Regina, you've heard how your husband has been reincarnated. And I can tell you, you have a husband in that man's household. So do not worry, there's another Shem that is now present. I have been reminded that Professor was also a member of the Kenya National Academy of Sciences, and Professor Michieka is here to represent them. Thank you very much.
He was the president.
Thank you. He will clarify.
Thank you, really. He was the president, second president of the Kenya National Academy of Sciences, and I think I'd like to ask the Academy members to just stand up. I'll take only 30 seconds. Those who are here, the others really send their contributions, and can you clap for this gentleman, really? This is my bodyguard. He's also Kea's son, Shelemaya Kea. So I want him to say something small on behalf of Kea, that group of ours. Please.
take 30 seconds. Okay. Don't read.
All right. My name is Jim Kerr. I'm Professor Kerr's son. I'm his eldest son. Please receive his apologies. He's losing a bit of his sight, so he can't see his money, but he can see some things. So I brought a donation on his behalf, which I've sent on Mpesa. You'll see it. And I just want to say apology to Cecilia. I think we met last at Professor Goat's funeral. And Sophie. I've also got a Sophie in the car, so I'll leave just now. But a 2-year-old one called Isaac. But Pole Sana, even from my mom, who hails from Karachuonyo. Actually, her mother, Karachuonyo is her mom's home. So there are a lot of ties. I think, courtesy of your father and Professor Minde, I went to Westlands Primary School in 1978, maybe shortly after you did. So there are a lot of areas that we have commonalities, and I thank you all for giving us this opportunity to be with you. I saw a lot of friends like Professor Juang, Professor Lunga, Mitula, Nelson. So it's one big family, and we're really we're with you at this time. So thank you very much.
Really, thank you. Now he stays back as my bodyguard. Stay there. Really, I think on behalf really of the Academy, Kenya National Academy of Sciences, and Mwandiga having been the president of that academy for about 12, 13 years, we contributed 82,000 shillings. All of us. 82. Thank you. And we have a letter here which will be read at home by the family. So I give them to you, I think. Thank you very, very much indeed. Yeah, I give it to you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, William. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was still expecting Jews to be somewhere. I'm sure they probably want to surprise us when we arrive in the Nyanza region. Are they represented in Nairobi, Egerton? Anybody who was sent? I would want to acknowledge the presence of Honorable John Jogu. Where are you? John, do you want to say something? Or do you have something for us? I was instructed to duly acknowledge your presence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God is good, and all the time. Thank you so much. I'm John Jogu Kamande, MCA in Kiambu County, that is Roiro constituency, Gitwadwa Ward. I've come here as a friend of Shelin. We work together to bring the condolences and our sincere message of comfort to the family. So I don't have much. That's why I've just said I'll come, sababu hawezi kosa kitu ya kusema. So thank you and God bless you. May the family be comforted. Receive our sincere condolences from our Roiro constituency people who work with Shelin, and also my family and myself. God bless you and keep you. And we are together in this journey till we bid farewell to our grandpa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Now we go to individual contributions, and I start with Professor Isaac Meroka Mbeche, 15,000. A clap for him. And before I come to the front table, to my friend, Justice J.B. Ojuang, I am asking if there's anybody else who has something to contribute. Please, you're welcome. If you are shy, coming forward, I am still young enough, energetic, and very athletic. I shall move to where you are and pick the contribution. Beautiful. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I wish to convey my heartfelt condolences to Professor's family. My name is Cheryl Otung. I'm also from Simbi. And I'm standing here on behalf of my husband, Dr. Paul Otung, and the entire Otung's family. And we say poleni sana for your loss. And I will contribute 50,000. It's okay. And I've just heard from my friend talking so well about Professor. I think the question that we should all ask ourselves is, what will be said about you? Because I think this is a life that wrote its own story, and it's being told with a lot of ease. Nobody's forcing issues here. It's being told with a lot of passion, a lot of goodness in it, and it's just nice, and it's so beautiful hearing this. And I don't know what people will say on the burial day, but I mean, the tributes are flawless. It is a challenge to all of us in the house that may you leave footprints that will not be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paul Otung. She's asking you to leave a footprint. Bosire, you have instructed me that you wanted to make an announcement from the main committee. I oblige.
Good evening once again. Good evening. Usiposema good evening, I'll fine you. So I've got two announcements, two contributions, Professor. One is a lady I've just seen on the wall, Millicent Bosire, 3,500. Let's appreciate that one. And then just for emphasis, the second lady did give us support very early of 200,000 shillings. Let's again clap for her. Hey, that lady is, that clap is like the halfway. Very well. And then we have received just now the contribution of one of the guests, our PS for internal security. Is it? I don't know whether it's internal security and you what, but the title is very long. PS Dr. Ray Omolo. He was supposed to be here, but he's part of the delegation of the president to the G7 summit. So he's traveling as we are talking. He's begun to travel. So he has sent his 200,000 shillings. Let's appreciate it better. Thank you very much. I think that's all I needed to.
Thank you very much. The pay bill is, you still have something? The father of Shem.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think I forgot something that as I hand over my check to chairman, here is the check is in US dollars. Yeah, Cec knows. Yeah, so Cecilia reminds me of that Sunday. The Sunday, then Prof goes on Monday. I was in Karachuonya and Prof was talking and he was demanding, as he usually does, that he's a big man, I have to do big things. So the final event that Prof attended was our event by ECAS Institute on air quality. And in that event, as usual, when the chairman is around, I usually am out. So I was out of the country then. He officiated the opening and closing and award of the certificates. So here is his certificate, which we gave. We wanted to give this to him. Professor Shem Mwandiga successfully facilitating. So we want to give Sophie that this forms part of the documentation. Hey, Nyakobi, come, take a photo. He gave the certificates, and then he ran away after cutting the cake, never to come back. So we really miss him as his mentees and the air quality working group and all the funding. So Sophie, on behalf of Prof, he has the certificate.
I will hold the mic. One hand must be greeting Sophie. The other one provides the certificate, and the photos are taken. Open the certificate so that we see the inside. Beautiful. Thank you very much. We move on. Professor JB. I am calling upon JB. He's not closing. Just in case you have taken a detour of your own pockets and you have discovered that even after JB you can still be able to stand strong, you are welcome. Can I give some 2 minutes prelude to ensure that JB then comes after 2 minutes? Who else comes? I can see, yes, beautiful. You know, I have a way of attracting fans. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I had spoken earlier, and I wanted to say that traditionally, when there is a funeral at Pastor Mwandiga's home, it was mandatory that a bull had to come from Otung's family. And even if Otung is not there, we are still saying a bull must still go to Professor Mwandiga's home. We are going to go there with a huge bull. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, brother. A bull is secured. For those of you who are traveling, you understand the value of that bull. Oh, you still want to add something? Oh, please.
Sorry for coming back. I've just remembered my father-in-law rested, but we still have my mother-in-law. And I know if he was alive today, he would have sent something as well. So on behalf of now Mwalimu Kefa Otung and Mama Cecilia Otung, I will add 5,000. Thank you.
Madam, tell Paul in Ghana that Uworo Lunga appreciates. I'm sure you don't know me, but your husband is my friend. I shall tell him that you have a wife and a half. We are still expecting more contributions, guys. Prof, I'm sure they will come. Let them hear your voice. Oh, it's already in the paybill. Just tell me to announce. Professor J.B. Ojuang has given us 15,000. Please, a round of applause for him. Beautiful. Any other? You know, I was supposed to be Nyongo. I am now going to announce what he sent me. Can I announce? You are getting tired? Okay. Prof, announce what I was told to bring. No, mine. You are announcing mine. I am telling you what to announce.
Okay. Now, he has made a major donation of 50,000. So let's thank him for that.
Thank you very much. And I'm a good student that when you are sent, you have to rub the feet of the visitor. So I will add another 5,000, so I'll send 55,000. And I had made my contribution earlier as a member of the club. So for Mnyongo, please register 55,000. I will add 5. Master of Ceremony, I will have the privilege to return this thing back to you. Thank you very much, everybody.
What a wonderful evening. What a wonderful time of listening to stories, of sharing one with another, and even of giving the family the strength to know that they will be able to rest their beloved in a manner that is befitting of who he was. And so on my own behalf, and indeed of everybody else, thank you, all of us. He was our friend. He was our friend. Before we make the final announcements, I am seeing some ongoing consultations. And when the consultations are over, we shall know what was the secret that was being shared in those consultations. Chair of the committee. You're welcome.
Thank you. Let's appreciate the MC. Hey. You know, I was once a high school teacher, not the new school teacher. The new school teacher begs to discipline you. The old teacher used to discipline you without, you would be told, I remember there was my biology teacher, if you came 1 minute late to his class, would tell you, stand by the window. After 10 minutes, you kneel down. Then it tells you to take the notes. That was, so we had to run. So let's appreciate the MC once again. Thank you. We called upon you at the last minute. And when the name, did you tell them your name? You need to tell them your name.
I have a few problems. I have a few problems with my name. It tends to metamorphosize with time and seasons and places. I have been called Mary. I have been called Cow. I have been called Mary Cow and other permutations of that. And so anything that sounds like a Mary and a cow, I will respond to that name. Thank you very much.
When I heard the name, I love soccer. There was a gentleman who used to play for FC, Abandu FC. He used to be called Haggai Mirikau. How many remember that name? Only him. I see how many people loved soccer. So thank you very much. You've done well. There's more contribution coming in that has come from John, Honorable, what? John Jogo again, another 5,000 shillings. Let's appreciate that. I wouldn't finish this. I come from a background of what we call, we must wrap it. Wrap it up. Wrap. There's a president in South Africa called President Museveni. Have you seen what he does? When he wants everybody to be up. So as I want the song, that Lingalinga song, where is that Lingalinga song? As we wrap it. Can you get that song? There is a song that I want to do that so that that song will escort us to give us. There are people who may not have 5,000. There are people who have hardware and they can all give. Professor, you allow me to wrap it up. That you can't get the song. Where is the DJ? There's a song that I love most. So that as you come, we do that tail end of a celebration. And we give whatever we give, so that when we leave out of this place. But in the meantime, the club announces that people, their club members who may wish to have common transport to Simbi, can they register at the main desk shortly after this? Have we found the song? Who knows the songwriter? Elder Paul, you must know that song. Okay. Okay. Before. You couldn't get the song? From Joyce, eh? There is more money coming in. Money from my father-in-law called Oyoo Geda. The Joseph Geda family, they have sent 20,000 shillings. And then Matthew Odhiambo, another 1,000 shillings. So, hiyo pesa iendelee kukuja, but as you look for the song, we must sign off with that song. So in the meantime, feel free. Bring the basket here. People may not have the 5,000, but you have some hardware in your pocket and some papers that will disturb you, eh? Just stand here. Shalene, stand here. People will come and give you whatever they have. Yes. Simama. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Okay. That song was the one that will sign us out, but I have a guest who wants to say something.
Hello, everybody. I'm Professor's wife's sister from the Kikenya family. When I moved to this country, I think it was 2005, I'd always go to their house, spend a lot of time with Professor. We would have lemongrass tea, peanuts, and he would be, you know, in conversation. He would guide us and how to settle in. This has really, he made it a mark in my heart. I'll never forget it. I can also attest to him spoiling Sophia at the age of 9. She had business cards, something that with pictures and yeah, those days there was no Instagram or anything, so she just wanted to do business, and the dad would really spoil her, and so she would dash out business cards when you come in, and so these are from our family. We contributed earlier, but we were adding 10,000. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate her. You see, this basket is full. This is the money that was going to go out of this room. It has come. So at the end of the day, I want us to, the T-shirts, there are those memorabilia T-shirts we want to buy. One is 1,000 bob. I realized that most of the T-shirts, like the one, it's for this. The printer of the T-shirt was thinking about himself, didn't think that we are all sizes, but we'll try and find a size for you. They're big ones. Oh, great, then great. Just carry if you want to be the legend. The extra, I'm told there's X large. They're there, I'm told. They're all there just to remember, and they've been done not just to be timed to RIP. It's something that you can wear beyond tomorrow and the day after. That is it. If you want more, they can always be printed. So on behalf of the planning committee and everybody else was involved. We wish to thank, first of all, the club, United Kenya Club. They've been phenomenal. That in both in kind and cash contribution. I've courtesy of and myself what we call temporary membership, and I promise Mr. Manager that when I grow up, I want to become a member of the United Kenya Club. And I'm sure there are many people around here who want to grow up with me. So this is a truly very homely place where you can come and have time. Thank you to the club management, the club membership. You guys have been phenomenal. The Department of Chemistry, every day. You walked with us. Every day. Oh, suddenly, yeah.
Thank you very much for all your contributions to enable us give Professor Mwandiga a proper send-off. And the university, of course, you know, Prof retired almost 2020, is it? 2020, about 6 years ago. The result is not really in the system, but because of who he is. The University of Nairobi has waived mortuary fees. The University of Nairobi, even for St. Paul's, the St. Paul Chapel will be at his service, courtesy of our Vice Chancellor, where we'll be given a day off under normal condition. We are given a bus to enable us travel to Simbi. And of course, the academic procession we are going to have on Wednesday during the Mass. So what we are going to do on Wednesday, a small change in the plan, because so that it becomes simple and sweet. So what we're going to do is the body will come from the Chiromo mortuary to the graduation square, where normally graduation happens, you know, the academic procession when students graduate. So when the body comes, we'll have a band, the marching band, and also all the professors lining up to receive Professor Mwandiga. And then thereafter, of course, we'll have a procession from the graduation square to St. Paul's. Initially, we were to walk all the way from there, but by the time we reach here, people will be tired. It will be long and etc. But we can make it short, simple, and sweet.
And thank you, sir, for having been an excellent, a really excellent chairperson 24/7. And it means 24/7. Clap for him.
Thank you, Professor. I'm so humbled. It is a pleasure. You know, Professor kept on calling. He would call me and tell me every detail. I'm not able to come to the meeting, but I'm here. There are very few people who make follow-up and keep their word. If he's running late for 10 minutes, he will tell you, I'll be late for 10 minutes. That is a true mark of a gentleman, and I appreciate you, Professor. And the good thing, Professor JB talked about the old scholars. One thing you can't take away from them is their fidelity to what they do. They set their minds on something, never leave it. It's good to be a professor. Those who are still trying to be professors, please be a professor today. It comes with certain values. It comes with certain character that you don't get even if you have 100 billion shillings in your pocket. It is never, never the same. ICA, Institute of Climate Change and Adaptation. An institution I associated with. I didn't know that Prof was involved in it. When I was with Professor Olago sometime last year in the north, I didn't know that connection. It always comes round. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the kind words. And I know tomorrow, on Wednesday, on 10th, there is going to be a vigil at ICCA. In the evening, a candlelight vigil. We've been given an opportunity just to, in front of the building, and just to do those final moments. So you are all welcome to that one. ECAS did sponsor the first get-together for people to talk about what they needed to talk about, say everything about Professor. And that was the moment the family had a chance to say very many things, say who Professor was. We had the acts through Professor Okello and Professor Ogada and their representative Beatrice, Carol. They are the ones who have sponsored the eulogy book. This is courtesy their work. Let's appreciate them. And in that team, I want to appreciate the coordinator of the group, that group that was behind the eulogy group, Simameni Mwonekane. At the back there, Cecilia was there, Sophia was there, Elvis Mboya, Effie. All these guys have done a lot of good work. Up till this afternoon, they were still trying to sign it off. As the editor, I told them, you must sign it off at this time because it has to go to bed. And the booklet has gone to bed. True? The booklet has gone to? In journalism, we say when it's gone to print, we say it has gone to bed. It's gone to bed. It's gone to sleep. That means it's taken a life of its own. The next day, a new baby is born. That's a good one, going to bed. And then, which other institution have I forgotten? JUICE, where was chair of the council. Their work has been concentrated back in Simbi. So when you go to JUICE, you will meet them in full. When you go to Simbi, you will meet them in full force. They know what the University of Nairobi has done. They are also waiting for you in their own domain, in their own jimbo. So they will express themselves. Egerton, through Professor Kibwage, who was one of his pioneer students in chemistry. He did pharmacy, but he was one of the pioneer students. With Dr. Elizabeth Ogaja. Yeah, those were pioneer students. I know they're doing their own thing, which will come, and we appreciate the support. And all people who are in that committee. Professor Lung, you spoke so well the other day when we were at the UKC. But I didn't know that you are also you're a hidden talent. You actually became Professor Nyong'o. I don't know whether they are Professor JB. I don't know whether there are IP rights when somebody is trying to imitate you. Is there a case for Nyong'o seeking remedy anywhere? That was there's not. So there are no copyright issues here. Okay, none. So it is not patented. So thank you very much for. You just stood in well, and you carried that money and topped it very well. Professor JB, I haven't seen you in a long time. I appreciate you. Thank you. He was the first one. Professor JB was the first to arrive here. That was 3:55. The meeting was supposed to start at what time? At 4. He was here at 3:55. I saw him slowly. There's something about being a professor and walking in measured steps. He was just walking slowly. Is this something professorial? I do not know. So those of us who walk briskly, we have an issue to sort out. So anybody else individually, mom, family, the family here both in Nairobi, friends in Nairobi, and in Simbi, and the big community in the diaspora that has been very supportive. All we can say, thank you so much. So, the calendar of events from today. Yep. before I give you a calendar of events, Cecilia has to dash to receive another member of the family who is just coming in. Just say once, it's fine.
So I want to thank all of you. Marisol was eager to be here, but flights have their own schedule, so I have to rush to pick her up. She will be here, obviously, on 10th with my nephew, Rafi, and also, obviously, for the burial. So thank you so, so, so much. This has obviously been live streaming, and LA, there's so many aunties and uncles and family members and friends watching online. So thank you also to all of you online, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ceci. To appreciate Cecilia. The Kotung family, Cheryl, I know we are going to talk. Cheryl, you are an important part of our life from tomorrow up to the day of 12th. Eh? Cheryl, just stand. That is Cheryl. She brought us good money, and she's the one, you look at her, the food that you are going to eat in Simbi. She's the one who is going to cook it. Eh? Thank you, Cheryl, and we look forward to a good meal in Simbi. Thank you very much. And then, while we're still giving thanks, we have received 25,000 shillings from the Killian Odumbe family. Let's appreciate them. We also have 10,000 shillings from Jacqueline Macha, 10,000 shillings. Let's appreciate them. The money will keep coming, and let it keep coming, because we still got a huge bill. So in the end, tomorrow, on Wednesday, 10th, we will have a Reiki Mass and an academic procession. Professors mentioned it. And if you have never seen the highest per capita concentration of professors, highest concentration of per capita? I don't know whether that is a mathematical formula, is it? Or a chemical formula. Highest concentration of per capita of professors, fully gowned, doing a professorial work. Come and witness and be awed by them and be inspired by them. They will be there. They will walk gingerly to the St. Paul's Chapel for a service, for a Reiki Mass that begins at 11. You are all welcome. We'll all be seated, and you are karibu sana. Then later in the evening is when Professor Daniel is going to host us at the ICCA for a candlelit kind of session. And then on 11th, we leave Nairobi. We'll go by flight. The professor will be flown to Kisumu, then by road to Simbi. Because we have to be at the airport, it's got to be very early. The rest of the people, you'll be given the route to get to. You can't get lost. Homa Bay is the place to be. Eh? You can't just get lost. If you get lost, then there's nowhere you can find. Eh? Is Homa Bay, just Homa Bay. It's in Kindu, but it's in Homa Bay. Yeah. It goes like Simbi, it goes to Karachuonyo, Kindu, and then Homa Bay. Then you come to Nyanza, then you come to Kenya. That's how it goes. So that will be the day. Then on 12th is the day we do the final interment, and you are all welcome to Simbi, the great Simbi. One thing to see there, great people, there is Simbi Nyaima, the legendary lake. You have a chance to see it, and come with your bottle of water, to carry some bottle of water from that place. That water has got therapeutic properties. So, thank you very much. So I want to invite, a guy prayed at the beginning. I want to invite a lady. Who be the lady who is going to pray for us as we finish this? we come to an end of our. Alois, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Alois. Okay, Cheryl. Oh, you know, when you have your father-in-laws around, they just tell you, they just say come and you do it.
The pressure is increasing. All right, let's be all upstanding. Let's pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for the gift of life. And we thank you for the gift of a legacy, of a life so well lived in Professor Shem Mwandiga's life. We thank you even for this moment. We thank you for this fundraiser, oh Lord. We thank you that everything has been according to your will. And we believe that, Lord, you're going to provide even more and more. Father, at this point, as we want to dispatch, may we just dispatch in our bodies, but kindly intertwine our souls to this course until we finish laying Professor to rest on Friday. For this end, I pray, trusting and believing in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for ourselves as we leave. Thank you. And the committee, the planning committee, remain behind so that we have on two businesses to sort out.
Darling,